All right, thanks, guys. Happy Friday evening to you. Got a couple games underway here on this Friday night, but we do already have some games to look at for Saturday's NBA action, and we do have some lines out for a couple of those games. There are a few games that don't have lines at the moment, but let's go ahead and dive into a couple of these Saturday night NBA matchups. Remember, all starts Eastern Standard Time on this program. So let's go ahead and begin with Charlotte at Denver. Now, that's going to be a 5 o'clock Eastern tip-off in the Mile High City. The Nuggets open the betting as the 9.5-point favorite, and the total at 218. The total at 219.5. So let's try that again. The Denver Nuggets open the betting as the 9.5-point favorite, with the total at 219.5. And since those markets opened this one up, not a whole lot of movement on the spread, although we are seeing movement downward on the total. Right now, that total has moved downward to 218. So once again, the Nuggets open and remain the 9.5-point favorite. Total open 219.5 down to 218. 55% of the consensus is leaning toward the Nuggets. And at the moment, Charlotte, it's plus 415 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Charlotte to cover the number in this one, you might be in pretty good shape. They have historically done pretty good against the spread against Denver in the past couple of seasons. And as a matter of fact, Charlotte is covering 80% of their games in their last 5 taking on Denver. Their offense is putting up 113 points per contest on the road this season. Meanwhile, on the Nuggets side of things, they've failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6. They're also covering just 40% of their games played at the current point spread. Now, scoring-wise, Denver is 5-2 to the over in their last 7. Charlotte 4-2 to the over in their last 6. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take Charlotte plus 10 and the over 218 in that one. And before we get into some more lines and personal leans, I just want to take a quick time out and just welcome you to the show. I got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's NBA action. But before we get into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, going back a couple of years, you're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Now, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now. Open up your browser. All you got to do is type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. The link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you're currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. And with all that said and done, let's go ahead and jump right back into some more lines and personal leans. Once again, all starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Jazz, Pistons, 7 o'clock Detroit. The Jazz opened the betting as the 1-point favorite and the total at 208. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a little bit of movement toward Utah in the early going here. We're also seeing a little bit of movement upward on the total as well. Right now, Utah's minus 1.5 with the total moving upward to 209. So once again, the Jazz open 1 up to 1.5. Total open 208 up to 209. 67% are leaning Utah. And at the moment, the Pistons are plus $1 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Pistons in the spot here at home, you might be in a pretty good spot here. They're taking on a Utah team who's failed to cover in 6 out of their last 7 away from home. They're also just 1-6 straight up in that same category. Utah's just 5-7 against the spread as the official road favorite this year. They're covering just 33% of their games that were played at the current point spread. Now, Detroit, on the other side, they are covering 67% of their ball games played at the current point spread themselves. And they've also successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 8 as the official home underdog. Now, scoring-wise, both teams, 2 out of their last 3 got over the total respectively. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take Detroit plus 2 and the over 209 in that one. Next game, Mavericks, Sixers, 7:30 tip-off in South Philly. Now, at the moment, there is no line for that particular game. I'm so sorry that I can't cover this game because there is no line. I don't make the lines. The markets make them. The books make them. So I cannot give you a point spread or a total on this because I don't do the lines. I just report on them. So there are no lines for this game. I'm so sorry there's no line for that. Just keep in mind, Philadelphia 5-2 against the spread in their last 7. They are 16-3 straight up on their home court this season. Meanwhile, Dallas, well, they've lost 16 out of 19 away from home this year. They've also dropped 9 out of their last 10 straight up on the road. So Dallas very bad on the road. But once again, there are no lines for this game. I'm so sorry. I wish there were, but there's not. And I don't control that. That's the bookies, that's the markets. So no pick on that game, although I may lean toward Philadelphia once those lines are released. All right, next game, Pelicans, Cavs. That's going to be an 8 o'clock tip-off in Cleveland. The Pelicans open the betting as the 7-point favorite, and the total at 222.5. And since those markets opened this one up, not a whole lot of movement in this one. New Orleans is now 7.5, but that total remained at 222 and a hook. So once again, New Orleans opened 7 up to 7.5. Total open and remains at 222.5. 71% are leaning New Orleans, 53% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Cavs are plus 290 for some money line cash. Now, the Cavaliers have been horrible this season, but if you take a look at it, they've gone 6-1 against the spread in their second of a back-to-back this year. So in their second of a back-to-back, Cleveland has successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 7. New Orleans, on the other side, well, they failed to cover in 8 out of their last 10, taking on teams winning less than 45% of their games for the year. Once again, New Orleans 2-8 against the spread, taking on teams under 450. Now, scoring-wise, both teams, well, 2 out of their last 3 got over the total respectively. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take Cleveland plus 8 in the over, 222.5 in that one. All right, next game, it is going to be Raptors-Bucks, 8:30 tip-off in Milwaukee. And once again, no line for this game. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of folks say, if there's no line, why even talk about it? Well, at least you know that there's no line on it. The line's being delivered late. And it lets you know that there's a game. You know, it's not only am I giving you the lines, but I'm letting you know when the games are being played. So anyway, 8:30, Toronto at Milwaukee. Unfortunately, there's no line. That's not my fault. I don't set the lines. I just report on them. Toronto, 28-12 straight up overall for the year. Milwaukee, 22-14 against the spread overall themselves. So should be a good game. That's going to be a tough one to pick once those lines are released. So unfortunately, no pick for me. Those lines should be released by 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday morning, noontime at the latest. All right, next game, Grizzlies-Spurs. 8:30 San Antonio. Once again, I'm really sorry, guys, no line on that game, but the Memphis defense is allowing just 102 points per contest overall for the year. San Antonio 16-5 straight up on their home court. So both teams very good in certain areas. That's going to be, once again, a tough one to pick. But unfortunately, no line on that one, no pick on that game. Now, my next and 2 final games for the show, they do have lines, and we're going to dive into the Warriors at the Kings, 10 o'clock Sacramento. Golden State opened the betting as the 7.5-point favorite, total at 238.5, and no movement on the lines there. Golden State still minus 7.5, total 238 and a hook. 72% are leaning Golden State, 60% shaded toward the over, and at the moment, the Kings are plus 260 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Kings to cover at home here, they are scoring 115 points per contest overall for the year. They're also covering 67% of their games played at the current point spread. Golden State, on the other side, they failed to cover in their 2 head-to-head matchups with Sacramento this season. Golden State's also covering just 22% of their ball games that were played at the current number. Now, total-wise, Golden State's 3-2 to the under in their last 5. Give me Sacramento plus 8 after buying the half a point, in the under 238.5 in that one. Next and final game for the show, it is going to be Houston at Portland, 10 o'clock tip-off in Rip City. The Houston Rockets open the betting as the 1.5-point favorite. That's down the -1. Totals at 216.5. 58% are leaning Portland, 57% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Blazers are -101 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Portland, they're scoring 114 points per contest on their home court. They're also 14-6 straight up at the Moda Center. Portland 67% against the spread as the official home underdog. They're also covering 60% of their games, taking on teams over 550. Now, Houston, on their side of things, They're covering just 38% of their ball games as the official road favorite. And when it comes to the scoring, Portland 71% of the over in their games at the current posted total. So with all that said and done, I'm going to take the home dog in this one. Give me Portland +1 and the over 216.5 in this one.